Okay, boys and girls, we've talked about introductions, how to start your story really well. We've practiced a few little techniques on how to make your story interesting for readers and how to really choose strong verbs and how to bada bing and bada boom to add some details. And now we're going to talk about different types of endings to your story, and then I'm going to read you some and you'll see if you can identify which type they are. Okay? We always need an ending to our story, and saying the end is only for kindergartners and Looney Tune cartoons. Well, I don't want to see any the end on your stories. That is not an ending, okay? But there are 5 types of endings we're going to talk about for your writing. There's 4 fiction and 1 nonfiction, okay? The first one is called the loop ending. The loop ending ends at the same place that a story begins. Who's ever read If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? Okay, put your hands down. That's a really, really fun first, second grade type book. That has a loop ending. And what you have to ask yourself as the writer is, do you want your story to end in the same place where it began? Okay? Do you want your character to be in the very same situation or place that they are when your story begins? The next one is called the surprise ending. And that's where there's a twist to it that takes the reader by surprise. Mystery novels usually have surprise endings. The Wizard of Oz, who's seen the Wizard of Oz movie? Okay, The Wizard of Oz has a surprise ending because what really happened? Did Dorothy travel anywhere? Was that whole adventure real? No, it was just something she was dreaming when she got knocked out. So that's a really good surprise ending. Okay. The least likely suspect must be the one who did it. Is your story one that wants to throw the reader a curveball in the last inning? If so, try a loop ending. Loop endings are very hard to write. We show them as a 4th grade ending because we'll come across them in our reading and literature, but they're very, very hard to write. You'll have to be thinking of your loop ending from the very beginning, or your mystery ending from the very beginning, because you'll have to be setting up that surprise character. If it's a mystery, you'll have to be setting it up from the very beginning, okay? The next one is the summary ending, and this is mostly for expository and persuasive writing. The summary ending repeats the main points and saves your strongest point for last. It ties up any loose ends, and it asks for the reader, if it's persuasive, to do something. You're trying to get the reader to do something. Okay? So that's your 1 nonfiction. So let's write nonfiction, or NF, next to it. This is what you guys have seen mostly in your reading so far, has been the happy ending. And that's what you do mostly write when you write stories, because you all tend to write happy stories. Fairy tales have happy endings. Everything works out. Anything that lives happily ever after. Most fables will have happy endings for one of the characters. It's like a good warm blanket. It covers us from the cold of life. Who has already written a happy ending in their stories? Yeah, that's the easiest one to write. Our sad but true ending. Who's read Charlotte's Web? Charlotte has to die at the end. That's how the story has to end. She's done. Her babies are gone. Her life is over. That's how it has to end. You really want a happy ending for Charlotte, but it wouldn't make sense with the story, would it? No. And that's when we have to use the sad but true ending. Put your hands down real quick. When we read Dear Mr. Henshaw at the very beginning of the year, it wasn't quite a happy ending, was it? So it's a sad but true ending. Lee was really kind of sad that his mom and dad didn't get back together, wasn't he? He was kind of sad that he knew he couldn't trust his dad to really take care of him and be there for him. And he was kind of sad that he had Bandit go off with his dad. But was he okay? Yeah. So it was a sad but true ending. Okay, we've read this one. Remember this? Coming Distractions, where it talked about movies and how they make you think things. We read this right before Christmas. Okay, the end. Movies are great entertainment, and sometimes they even teach us a thing or two. That's why we watch them. What's cool though, is that we don't have to believe everything a movie shows. It's totally our choice. So let's go pop some popcorn, watch a movie, and enjoy asking questions. What type of ending is that? Cooper? That's a summary. And notice this is nonfiction. Okay, yes? Well, you don't really have to. All you have to do is listen. Okay, the next one is The Day of Ahmed's Secret. I don't know if any of you have read this book. It's a picture book, so I'll read the last few pages. Finally, I'm home. It's sundown, and it is the time of day when you cannot tell a white thread from a black one. My mother has already lighted the lanterns. Everyone is waiting for me. Instead of telling them about my day, I say, look, I have something to show you. It is time to tell my secret. I take a deep breath. Look, I say, look, I can write my name. I write my name over and over as they watch, and I think of my name now lasting longer than the sounds of it, maybe even lasting like the old buildings in the city 1,000 years. What do you think? A secret, yeah. That's his secret. It's a surprise. He's been going in the story. He goes off to school and learns to write his name without his family ever knowing.